The following is a Candlepin Stars and Strikes rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable programs. Hi again, everybody, and welcome back to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, and welcome back to Championship Week. Now on Stars and Strikes doubles as we resume on Championship Sunday. We have two teams set to go for $800 top prize, $400 to the runner-up, and more important, the winning team moves into the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions, the doubles edition.
Yeah, it's the early matches. I don't think they're really thinking about that. But in the championship match, they're always thinking not only the win, but the qualification in the Tournament of Champions.
All right. I hope you were with us last Sunday because we had a terrific doubles match here on Stars and Strikes doubles, and the guys who won it are number 2 seeded team. They are going to try and make it 2 wins in a row today and win the whole thing. First of all, from Dover, New Hampshire, Bob Mazur, and his partner from Loudon, New Hampshire, Steve Tierney.
Okay, and Steve comes in averaging 117, roll-off score 617. Bob Mazur threw a terrific double strike in 6 to win last week, 122 average, 643 for roll-off score.
Once again, not only the win today important, but also the total score, because that'll determine the seeding in the Tri-State Megabucks Doubles Tournament of Champions. All right, they've been waiting for 3 weeks. Now they get a chance to see if they can hang on to this number 1 spot and win this series. Our number 1 seeded team, first of all, from Lynn, Massachusetts, Mike Morgan, and his partner from Manchester, New Hampshire, Paul St. Pierre.
Okay, and Mike comes in averaging 127. His roll-off score quite a bit ahead of the rest of the field at 686. Paul St. Pierre, 126 average, and his roll-off score 617.
All right, once again, just to review, $400 to the runner-up team, $800 to the winning team, and of course the winning team will also be back with us for the Tournament of Champions in the spring. Lots at stake, and we'll get the match started. First of 3 strings, Scotch doubles format here on Stars and Strikes, right after these messages. Don't go away. Well, here we are, championship time once again on Stars and Strikes doubles, and it's come down to the top 2 teams as the number 2 seed held last week, but just barely, if you were with us, as Bob Mazur and Steve Tierney came up with a rousing finish in the 10th. Bob Mazur throwing a double strike 6 to knock out Dave Kudermarsh and Dan Valcourt by just 1 pin, and so Mazur and Tierney move on to face Morgan and St. Pierre in our championship match, and we're going to get it started. Bob Mazur, the guy who finished things last week, will start it this week. That was a great match last Sunday. If you didn't get a chance to watch it here on Stars and Strikes doubles, hope somebody taped it for you because it was terrific.
The 5, 9, 10. Let's see where that wood's going to settle down, whether it's going to help them or not. Well, not really. But he's going to have to use it anyways.
No, sprayed it. $9 to start. Nobody's been able to win 2 in a row in this series. Paul Willits and Tom O'Brien won the first week, and they were knocked off by Kudermarsh and Valcourt 2 weeks ago. And then last week, the Garrison finished by Mazur and Tierney.
That close to a spare.
And a pair of 9s for 18. And now Mike Morgan. And it's been a while since we've seen Michael.
Well, he's got a record of 8 and 2, so he does very well when he comes on with us.
Well, actually, the last time he was here was back in June of '89. May and June of '89, actually. In our first singles Tournament of Champions, and Mike came from the number 5 spot, won 3 matches in the Tournament of Champions before losing in the semifinals to Bob Moran, and he lost with a 435.
I remember that match. That was a great match. It was that long ago, though, 89.
Yeah, Bob Moran threw a 448 to beat him. Bob Moran went on to win that Tournament of Champions, the first one. But it's been that long. Just about exactly 2.5 years to the day for Mike Morgan. Mike from Lynn. He and his wife Kathleen have a son, Mike. And yes, as you probably guessed, Mike does work at General Electric. He lives in Lynn.
6, 7, 10. Couple pieces of wood, one directly in front of the 6 and 10, another one in between, and a third piece right in the middle of the lane. Oh, a nice spare.
Snaps it over.
You see the replay, and somehow he gets that 6-pin to travel across the width of the lane into the 7-pin for the spare. Steve Tierney's first 2 frames.
Oh, coming back. 9 drop.
Leaves just the 8-pin.
Well, of course, we talk about Bob Mazur and his double strike in the 10th last week, but maybe that would not even have mattered had Steve Tierney not come up and thrown 2 big marks in the 7th and 8th. He went spare strike in his final 2, and of course that helped set up what turned out to be a 1-pin victory.
Well, he's got a tough piece of wood. He can see the pin, but just barely.
Will it carry?
No.
Yes.
I never thought that would carry. Of course, his ball, too, is breaking from left to right, and it was just enough to stay in there with that spin. But I thought the ball would fly by the 8-pin.
Oh, my.
Tough 2 on a spare, the 1 and the 5. Hit your object pin, get that one and the one behind it. Don't see that happen at Park Place lanes too often.
Wow, how about that?
I was going to say, all that they say you have to do is hit him. He hit the 3-pin and it wasn't going to go down. Now he's hit his object pin twice now, and he's still looking at 7 pins. That's a tough 6-box.
Especially on the heels of a spare. Now Paul St. Pierre.
Working on a spare put up by his partner.
Paul St. Pierre hasn't been with us for a little while. November of last year, when he was here in singles competition. Been here 3 times overall. Winning once. A 7-pin lead for the team of Morgan and St. Pierre.
The 1 and the 9 pins left. And I'm going to have check a piece of wood. I guess it's all playable. Joe Paglia. So walk down, and that's a great spare. Was able to negotiate the front piece of wood, trying to get by that, hitting the head pin flush, driving it straight back, and the ball takes to 9.
We've completed 1 cycle, and now Bob Mazur again. Four horsemen left, and he kicks it out. Not the conventional way to make it.
Thought he was a little heavy on the head pin, but it was enough to keep the pins in play, especially the 2-pin, which takes out the 4, and then finally the 7.
Bob is waiting for another one of his own bowling balls to return.
He's waiting for the one that he throws strikes with. I'm telling you, the bowlers are the most superstitious bunch. And that one will no longer be one of his set next week.
Picked up the wrong one, undoubtedly.
1, 2, 6, 10. So 2 marks for the team of Mazur and Tierney, but 2 on one spare and 6 on the other.
And 61 through 6. Well, Dan's going to have to go back and make a little adjustment on that.
Well, I didn't. He blocked my view.
61, not 62 after 6.
It's on the wrong keys. I was just bragging before the show that I hadn't made a mistake in a few weeks. Well, disappointing 3 on that spare for Mike Morgan. Both teams have yet to hit their stride.
Oh, nice shot there. Can't carry the 10 pin, though.
Mike has got a big backswing. He really generates a lot of speed on the ball, and it looked like he's just throwing it effortlessly when he releases it.
Of course, Mike's brother Tom has also been with us on several occasions. There was a time back a couple of years ago when it seemed like one of them was here every week.
One, 2, 7, and the 5 pin in the back. Off target.
Yeah, a nice 10 box. So the lead is 9. That's the ball that Mike wanted to throw the ball before. Well, if Steve Tierney has had a problem in these last 2 weeks, it's been leaving the ball out to the right. You mentioned it breaks from left to right, kind of the reverse of what you would normally expect from a right-hander.
And part of that is he's coming up at the point of release, and it's even putting a little more spin on the ball. He's getting really underneath it. He stays down that way. He's usually around his object pin. It's an even 70 through 7.
Of course, each bowler on today's show will receive a plaque from the N&R Trophy Company of Winchendon, Mass. Special thanks to Norm Norcross and all the folks down at N&R for all of their support through the years here on Stars and Strikes, and now on Stars and Strikes Doubles. Watch out, same spot.
One for them all. He'll try to grab as many as he can with his 3rd ball.
And another 6 bucks, the 2nd for the team. Paul St. Pierre from Manchester, New Hampshire. First ball leaves the 4 pin. Paul and his wife Maureen have 3 daughters, Jessica, Amanda, and Nicole.
That wood looks like it will probably carry the 4 pin. Doesn't make any difference. He's right on the pin. Spare in the 7th. 9 pin advantage, 10 pin advantage, plus the fill.
Quickly over to lane 31 for Paul for the fill, and it is a good one. Will it be 8 or 7? It'll be 7.
And again, he has a choice here, the wood or the 3 pins. He's got a clear shot at the triangle, and that's what he decides to do. 2 in a row. And a 21 pin advantage.
Bob Mazur right in the pocket, and he'll shoot at the 4 pin. And this could get a little tricky, although we'll wait and see what this wood does now. Looks to be okay. Wood apparently frozen and takes it. The team could use a couple of marks here in these final 2 boxes. Bob's all over the head pin again, this time only 6.
Well, let's see if the wood can sweep right across for the 5, 7, 8, 9.
Got a shot. Nope.
Not quite enough for the 7 pin. So 3 marks in this game, all spares by team of Mazur and Tierney, but the fills are a problem. 6 on 2 of them and 2 pin fill on the other.
.102 the team of Mazur and Tierney. Mike Morgan now comes up working on a spare. Paul St. Pierre put 2 of them up there his last time. Big first ball.
6:10 left for Mike Morgan.
Covers it. 3 in a row for the team.
And a 23 pin advantage.
Haven't had any strikes in this match yet. We might have one right there.
Well, he directed that wood to turn and did just that. Flattened right out, so he should be able to just drive it straight back into that 5 pin. And we'll finish with 4 in a row if he can make this.
Yep.
This is a 124 through 9, 134 plus the fill.
Well, the last 3 fills have been 7, 8, 9. So what should happen here?
Well,
he's been all around it. No, not this time. Let's see what this will do. More? No, it'll be 7. A 141 for the team of Mike Morgan and Paul St. Pierre. They take the early advantage. Championship week on Stars and Strikes Doubles. We'll be back. Second game. Championship on the line. This is Paul St. Pierre. Right in the pocket for all of them. First strike of the day for either team.
see that ball twisting and turning, breaking from right to left, and he buries it in the 1-3 pocket, looking for 2. Oh, wow. It's a 39 pin advantage, and I guess it's safe to say it's not too early to start talking about total pinfall in the match. The winning team, whatever they have for a total for the 3 games, will determine their seeding in the Tournament of Champions. And with an opening game of 141 and a strike spare, they're well on their way, or at this point in time, the 2 scorers of the qualifiers already in the Tournament of Champions, Carrington and Ray at 448, Morrill and Quinn at 412.
Good looking ball by Steve Tierney, and he looks at the 5-10.
Wants to show for it there, trying to cut the 5 pin into the 10. Can be done. It's the right idea. The lead climbs to 50 pin advantage, and a spare already up by Morgan and St. Pierre in the second. Another good looking ball by Steve. Broke at the last minute, little full. 6, 7, 10.
Well, he's hit the head pin twice. Split each time.
He's got to play the wood in front of the 7 pin. Double piece of wood, trying to make it move across. Well, he made it move across and never knocked anything down. Well, any consolation, Steve? I would have done the same thing. And drop that ball a little bit. $7, so it's 16 after 2.
Mike Morgan comes up on a spare. Could increase the lead to over 60 pins with a big fill. He does. He does.
Can't get any bigger than that. Strike, spare, strike to start the second game. 50 after 3 plus the bonus balls. It's a matter of time before the 6-pin goes. Well, crossed over this time back in the 1-3. I say cross over because his ball does, much like Steve Tierney's, backs up a little bit from left to right. 2-4-6 left. Got a shot at it.
Oh, my. The wood was not a factor. The wood never moved. He made that cut shot cleanly. Whew.
My, oh, my.
20 at a time for the team of Morgan and St. Pierre. Go back to the end of the first game. That's 8 marks in a row now.
That's right. Finished with 4. Gotta hurry. Doesn't get there. Misses the head pin to the right. Removes just the 3-pin, looking at the 110. Oh, you see it. 75 pin advantage now and threatening to go higher.
And Bob Mazur with a couple of distressing boxes there, an 8 and a 7. We will take a break. The team of Morgan and St. Pierre on fire with 4 marks to begin this middle game. More Stars and Strikes doubles championship week when we come back. Well, Paul St. Pierre is going to try and keep things rolling for his team.
They're perfect through 4, all marks. Disappointing fill there. 2. Pull the ball far left. Remove the 4 and the 8.
Let's see. Nope. Be an 82 half. And a big lead coming up to the halfway point of this match. Right back on the head pin.
Not quite. 6-pin. Piece of wood in front.
11 marks for the team in 16 frames. You mentioned it earlier, Dan. They're on their way to a heck of a triple if they can keep this up. Steve Tierney now looking to start something. Takes a couple extra, 3 extra. Pins all over the deck.
9 and 10 left.
That's on it. That's the 4th mark for the team of Mazur and Tierney. Six fill. Dan and I want to take a moment here to wish all of you the very happiest and healthiest and safest of holiday seasons. On behalf of everybody here at Stars and Strikes, a couple of marks, and they needed them.
Took a little while here, but the wood kept moving and twisting and turning, and finally the 7-pin went down. 2 marks in a row for the team of Mazur and Tierney, but story right now is 90 through 6 plus this ball from Morgan and St. Pierre.
You, of course, Dan, I know have already finished your Christmas shopping. Yeah.
No, I'm like you, Doug. I just thrive in that pressure. 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. It's great. You pick these stores that are open all night, you know, and just go in. What do you got? I'll take it. It's the thought that counts.
Now, $6 for Mike Morgan. That's about the first thing that team has done wrong all day. Half Worcester left.
Well, after 72 through 4 boxes, they kind of cooled off a little bit. The next 3 are at 103 through 7.
2 more.
That's pretty good out. 111 now through 8. A great start is turning into just a, well, almost an ordinary game. Unless they get a couple marks.
This is Bob Mazur on a spare, and he takes them all. First strike for the team of Mazur and Tierney, and they've got 3 marks in a row now all of a sudden.
You like a double strike here. Cut into that, still a 65 pin advantage. Gain a few more here. There it is.
Oh, that's it. You called it. Double strike for Bob Mazur.
I'll tell you, the strikes have been flying the last few weeks here, and what's more strange, we've had a lot of doubles. We go through weeks we don't even have double strikes, and all of a sudden, whew, that's a triple.
Paul St. Pierre puts one up in the 9th. Great pocket hit. Now back and loses that one off to the right.
Why you get 2, buddy? Right at it.
6 fill. And they'll be in the 130s after all that. It'll be a 134 after a very promising start.
And they were 32 pins over after 4 boxes. In other words, in the 4th they were 72. So if they had 10 boxes all the way out, they would end at the 132. So
this is on a double strike. Steve Tierney looking for every pin he can get here.
well, he hit the right pin, hit the object pin being the head pin, but he went right through the middle. Well, I would guess he would go after the 3 and the 6. Wood did roll in between the 2 and the 4 and rested against the 4 pin, so you know it has a good chance of knocking that down if he can clip the 3. No, he's going right down the middle, and it's a 6. So it's going to help, but it's not going to help as much as they would have hoped.
Well, a mark here in the 10th and a fill would at least hold them perhaps even from where they were in game 1. But that would still, of course, leave them almost 40 pins behind with 1 game to go. A very funny string. Morgan and St. Pierre with 4 marks in a row in boxes 1 through 4, and then Mazur and Tierney with 4 in a row in boxes 5 through 8, including a double strike. Steve Tierney looking for the mark in the 10th and can't do it. So, with 1 game to go, as Steve Tierney finishes with a 9 box, it will be 275 for Morgan and St. Pierre, 228 for Mazur and Tierney. 1 game to decide the championship, and we'll be back with it right after these words. Well, Bob Mazur is going to try and start a big comeback for his team. They came back last week in the 3rd game. They trailed by 25 going into the 3rd game.
Tried to cut the 3 pin. See, 47 pins is the advantage for Morgan and St. Pierre. I dare say Bob can't wait till the last box today. He's going to start early.
Well, this won't be much fun. The 1, 7, 8, and 10. There is wood in the channel, which could come into play, but not really much you can do with that. Try and hit the head pin and hope. Pair of nines. You see that Morgan and St. Pierre with the 275. If they should go on to win this thing, you would figure they'd have perhaps a good shot at a 400 triple. Again, the scores to be thinking about, the scores of the two teams that are already in to the Tournament of Champions. Gary Carrington and Jack Ray with a 448. Mike Morrill and Jack Quinn with a 412.
Get up there. Get the sticks.
Nice 10. Mike Morgan.
Right in on the head.
Seeing that wood to snap over.
Absolutely right.
Off the head pin. "12 marks already in the match. The team of Morgan and St. Pierre. No. They also will go open here in the first two. And things stay the same. But now there are 8 boxes to go. Steve Tierney. Steve had a problem with that one when he let it go. Skipped a little bit on him. Looking for the conversion, and he's got it.
First ball hasn't been where he's wanted it the last couple weeks, but he's definitely made some nice spares. I was talking to him last week after the match, and he said he would have felt real bad if they lost by a pin or two, because he had some bad fills on spares, but I don't think he gave himself enough credit, because he did throw a spare strike late in that third game, which gave the team a chance to win it. Of course, Bob Mazur came up with a double strike in 6, the last box.
This is a possible spare here with the wood on the 7-9. Ooh.
He just threw his hands up. He knew he had to be a lot lower or a lot more to the right.
And it's an 8.
Come on, Paul. Two big ones.
So that'll bring up Paul St. Pierre.
Mix up. The ball.
Solid 6-pin.
And that it was. Crossed over in the 1-2 pocket. Just blew out everything but the 6.
And there it is, covered for the spare.
Very nice ball, buddy.
Matching the spare by Steve Tierney.
Little ball. Oh, they're better than that.
7 is the fill.
Yeah, find a way.
His partner Mike Morgan says find a way. Well, I think the way might be as if the 10-pin were standing and just clip the 6-pin on the right-hand side. With the angle of the wood, it could jump right across into the 7.
That was a lob,
That was
but
a lob,
it
but
didn't
didn't-
end up costing him anything. He did exactly try what you were saying, Dan. And it wasn't there either way. 9, and even in this game after 4, but Morgan and St. Pierre have the advantage by 47 with 6 frames to go when we come back. Well, last week's comeback for Mazur and Tierney was pretty spectacular. This one would have to be even more so, I would think.
Ordinarily, you get excited about 8-pin drops, but I think they need the excitement of getting strikes. Well, there's a spare. And the 5th. 47 pins. You're about 5 marks behind your opponents at that point. You haven't got much room for error.
Another 8 drop.
6 in the 9. Wood shouldn't be a factor. He's going to have to be on the 6-pin to give himself a chance.
Yes. Well,
Almost was too full on the 6.
a little adventurous, both of those spares, but he converted both.
No defense, all offense, so Mike Morgan gets up there and he wants to put some marks up. Or the only good defense is a good offense in Candlepin.
Ooh. Tried to play it inside, went too far inside. Well, that takes 11 pins off the lead. Yes.
I didn't think that was going to go at first because 2 pieces of wood, one on each side, was going to hit the 2-pin, but it did topple over. He leaves himself just a 10-pin. You know, it's almost better go right down the center of the lane with this rather than try to get by and cap the wood, but knowing, yeah, that's what he's doing. He's going right down the center. Play as many pieces of wood as you can. Get them all moving. The match is a spare up in the 6. Steve Tierney now for his final 2 boxes of the match.
You need a big fill here. What they really need are strikes.
The 1 and the 8, or 1 and the 9, I should say.
Oh, no.
A little bit more to the right, he would have had a shot. A little more to the left, full on the head pin, he would have had a shot. In between, ball went one way, pin went the other. The 9-pin stayed, and they make it a 9. And things are starting to look a little bleak. But all of a sudden, the team of Morgan and St. Pierre become mortals here. We're coming back to the pack at 275 after 2, which is a pretty good score, but the way they started that second game, you would think the 134 that they had would have been bigger. And now they're going to scramble even to hit 400. That was a lob.
So that'll be a 6.
6. Just put that one out over the lob line. This is going to be the fill on a spare, and it's 2. He held it 2 fingers up. He knew exactly when he let the ball go that it was destined for half Worcester right. Totally different team. First half of the match to the second half of the match. At least as far as the bowling goes.
Well, the lead is 30 right now. This a 10 bucks.
Ball coming back for the 10. Half Worcester right again. Someone in the back of us saying, you really want to win this, don't you? They seemingly have the match well in hand. But
now with 2 boxes to go, the lead is 32.
That's a whole bunch of strikes.
Just where Bob Mazur wants to be, right?
Yeah.
Not this time.
No. And that should just about do it. Just gonna have to keep the ball in the lane, but Mike Morgan and Paul St. Pierre will qualify for the Tournament of Champions. However, I don't think they're going to beat either of the 2 qualifying scores already posted. Gary Carrington and Jack Ray at 448. Mike Morrill and Jackie Quinn at 412. But they're in. You can't win the Tournament of Champions until you get there, so. And that slides by in the left for Bob. And a 116 final in 344.
And that means that it is already over.
Right, already at 356 is the team of Mike Morgan and Paul St. Pierre.
They will need a double strike to hit 400.
Yeah, we still have two more qualifying teams, 3 more qualifying teams. You still don't want to let up. You still want to put that total, even though you can't catch the 2 scores that are already posted. You still want to put as big a score up there as you can. Try to protect your 3rd place spot at this time.
He'll shoot at the diamond. Try and add another mark here. Nope. Well, Mike and Bob, or rather Mike and Paul are going to win, but they're probably going to end up thinking that they could have scored higher. 98 and a 3-string total, 373. But as Dan said, the important thing is Mike Morgan and Paul St. Pierre are in to the 1992 Tri-State Megabucks Doubles Tournament of Champions. They defeat Bob Mazur and Steve Tierney. We'll be back to award the prize money and talk to all the bowlers right after these words. Welcome back to Stars and Strikes Doubles here at Park Place Lanes in Windham, where Mike Morgan and Paul St. Pierre have moved into the Stars and Strikes Doubles Tournament of Champions. That'll be coming up, of course, next spring as they roll a 373, which right now is good enough for a 3rd spot in the overall seedings, but we'll see how those scores stand up throughout the rest of the season. Right now we want to talk to all the bowlers. First of all, let's welcome up Bob Mazur and Steve Tierney. Come on up, guys. We have second prize money for you to share here, $400 the total prize money for second place. So Steve and Bob, you can separate those and step right in here so we can get you on camera. Bob, congratulations again. Obviously not the same production as as last time. Needed some more strikes this time on the comeback.
Yeah, there was no strikes at all. No, it was tough.
The opportunity seemed to be there a little bit in the second game. You guys were able to put a little something together, but not able to just keep it grinding consistently.
No, we didn't string enough together. There's 2 quality bowlers over there that we bowled against, and the last string they struggled, but I think they showed their true colors the first 2 strings. And hopefully we'll look for another roll-off and can get back on.
Well, we hope to see you both back again real soon. And, of course, Steve, first time here for you. Glad to see you, and hope you get back real soon.
Oh, I'll give it a try.
All right. Steve Tierney and Bob Mazur, thanks very much, guys. Appreciate you coming by. Second place finish. And now let's bring up Mike Morgan and Paul St. Pierre, who are going to sheepishly accept the first prize. Yeah, you can just face this way if you want. Hey, the win is a win, right?
Oh, any way you can get it.
$800 to share for first prize. Michael, good to see you again. And Paul, the same to you. And, well, the third game, you had a little cushion there. You were able to coast.
Thank God, because I'll tell you, I was skating up there. I had no control at all. My partner did a real good job. I should have switched up the last string because I had a hard time pushing off. I should have let him have the 6 boxes, so we'll deal with that next time.
First time for either of you to be here in a while, and you come in, throw one 3-string match, and you get a win. Not bad.
That's the way to do it. We don't have to keep coming back like somebody else I know.
Well, it is easier this way if you get it out of the way. Now, obviously, you guys knew that you had the big lead, so you're looking for the 3-string total, but it just wouldn't happen for you in the third game.
Well, for 15 boxes, we threw the ball good. Then we got off the head pin, and we just weren't getting the roll. We were forcing it there. But like I say, we had a good lead, so at least we won the match. And we're third out of, 3 matches,
yeah,
right?
That's right.
So why don't you just say
I wasn't
going
to say that. But,
Actually, we're in last, but I mean, we're in third.
Well, again, congratulations, and mark a date in your calendar for next spring, and we'll see you then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Paul St. Pierre and Mike Morgan, thanks very much. And we'll bring Dan Murphy back in here, and we'll just close this out here. We'll have enough time to, again, wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. And Mike Morgan and Paul St. Pierre, as we mentioned, able to hang on and get that victory.
Yes, Mike is in last right now. Yes, likewise for me, safe and happy holidays to everybody.
And from all of us here on the TV50 Sports crew, and from my partner Dan Murphy, Doug Brown, so long from Park Place Lanes. We'll see you next Sunday at 12 noon.